face Kevin Gausman, and for Gausman, Joe, this is the second time he and the Rays are seeing one another in less than a week.
It is a rematch. Gausman facing Drew Rasmussen again here. They faced each other at the Trop. Tampa came out a 4-3 winner last Tuesday down in St. Petersburg. Kevin went 6 innings, allowing just 2 runs. The four-seam fastball velocity was up again. That's a very good sign. He was using that four-seamer early, turned to the splitter a little bit more the second and third time through the order, but he held that velocity after the second inning right into the 6th, and that's a very good sign. He talked about intent. He talked about getting after it. Whatever it means, that velocity helps him because it makes that splitter an even nastier secondary pitch.
And obviously there are no surprises when a guy like Gausman faces a team that is in his own division. The Rays have seen him a lot over the years. Here's Simpson, the guy you really want to keep off base. He is not a power hitter at all, but he will put the bat on the ball. He's just trying to hit a hard ground ball or line drive, get to first, and if he gets to first, there's a pretty good chance eventually he's getting a second. Fouls it off, and it's 0-2. You can see Simpson does not have a home run this year. Broke it last year, does not have a major league home run. Hit 1 in the spring this year and hit 1 in the minors, but that was an inside the park home run. Here's the 0-2 from Gausman, and it's just outside, says the home plate umpire Brian Onora.
One thing Kevin can do so well, he can adapt. He can change his game plan up. Not a lot. He's got the four-seam fastball and the splitter, but he can go up more, he can go down more. He can use the splitter at different times, attacking them differently.
There's a good split line back towards Gausman, who cannot get a handle on it to make the play. First of all, hopefully he's okay. And he is waving off, I think, John Schneider. He's probably also frustrated he could not get the out. But most importantly, is Kevin Gausman okay?
If he's looking at his right knee down, the way he pointed down, going after that ball right there, did he? Right there.
There, yeah. I'm sure John Schneider just had flashbacks of Cody Ponce from earlier in the year, and obviously we can see in the moment that Gausman appears to be okay. He has looked down to his middle infielders, and he is going to stay in the game. It's the second error committed by Gausman. Looked like he would have had a play if he can pick it up there. It's the 10th error committed this season by Blue Jay pitchers.
Even with the speed of Simpson, I think he's got a shot, but that's what speed does. It just rushes you through the plane. He can't make it.
Simpson's got 12 steals in 16 tries, and here's Junior Caminero. And worth noting that Simpson did steal a base in the game last week down in St. Petersburg with Gausman on the mound. That was the only attempt with Gausman on the mound in that game, and Simpson was successful. But obviously Gausman has to focus most of his attention on the power hitter at the plate, Caminero. That fastball comes in a little low, and it's 2-0. The Rays, and not with Caminero specifically, but kind of thrive on making contact, putting pressure on the defense with their speed. Now Caminero's a bopper. He's trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark, but this is the best contact team in baseball, and it's not even close. The difference in contact rate between first and second is as big as second and 16th. The Rays make a ton of contact. Remember how teams would talk about how hard it is to face the Blue Jays last year with all that contact? That's how teams are talking about the Rays right now.
Sounds very familiar. And then you add the speed element that the Rays have. Kevin Cash said today, it's not that they designed the roster this way. It's just the way they've asking certain players to be really good at what you do well. We know what Simpson does very well. He runs.
2-2, the count on Caminero. Simpson not going, and it's pop foul out of play on a splitter in a good spot, but give Caminero credit for getting a piece of it. Boy, how the complexion can seemingly change. We don't know how the inning will unfold. Getting Simpson versus not getting Simpson.
That's DeMarlo Hale controlling the running game there, whether to throw over, pitch out, whatever it is.
Runner goes, and the pitch is lined into right for a base hit, and Simpson will easily turn and come around to third.
This piece of hitting by a very good hitter in Caminero. Gets this pitch out over the plate, trying to elevate it, but it just stays out there, and he drives it right where it was pitched.
As soon as Simpson picked it up, going into right field, easily around to third, and here come the Rays right out of the gate. First and third, nobody out for their number 3 hitter, Jonathan Aranda, tied for second in the American League with 29 RBIs. Aranda is what some people call in the business a professional hitter. You get a good quality at bat from him seemingly every single time. He's hitting almost 400 with runners in scoring position. He will put the bat on the ball. The Rays as a team very good with runners in scoring position this year. One of the reasons why they're 26-13.
Well, he needs a chase right here. This is where swing and miss really plays. We know Kevin Gausman can do that very well. The strikeouts are down a little bit this year, but if he can get him to expand on a splitter right here.
As you can see, he is 3 strikeouts away from reaching 2,000 in his career. Here's the 0-2 to Aranda, and a fastball hit way up in the air to left center field. And this will be plenty deep enough to get Simpson home. The throw will come into second from Pinango, and the sac fly by Aranda makes it 1-0 Rays.
It looked like Kevin may have been trying to elevate there, maybe get a chase up and away, but it had a lot of plate, and for me, that's easy pickings for a hitter like Aranda. Very easy to get the barrel to that baseball to cash in the first run.
His 30th RBI on the season, and here's Yandy Diaz. So much of the Tampa Bay offense is concentrated in these 3 guys: Caminero, Aranda, Diaz. A low strike call, but it goes Gausman's way, and it's 0-1, and no challenge from Diaz on a pitch that did appear to be 2 or 3 inches below the zone.
It's a great job by Valenzuela, another thing that he's continuing to prove on.
Fastball, and that's in there too, and it's 0-2.
Kevin's pitched very effectively inside to right-handed batters this season. It's really helped him with his success against righties.
Splitter blocked by Valenzuela as he makes sure Caminero's not going anywhere from first. Diaz, 34 years of age, hitting over 300 this year, and good numbers in his career against Gausman. 7 for 15, including a home run. Checks the swing, and it's 2-2. Although in last week's game down in St. Petersburg, Yandy Diaz was 0 for 3 against Gausman. Rays starter Drew Rasmussen waiting for his opportunity in the bottom of the first. Swing and a miss to get him for out number 2.
Went right back to it, showed him the splitter, but came back with the 4-seam fastball, and he blew it right by him.
Strikeouts are brought to you by Subway. Get 25% off any footlong on game days. Order in the Subway app using code STRIKEOUT. Well, good velocity on the fastball early for Gausman. 95, 96. 2 down. Here's Jake Fraley, who sends a fly ball down the left field line. Pinango over for a look, but it's out of play and just up into the seats. If you're just tuning in and saying, what's Pinango doing out there? Unfortunately, Addison Barger has gone on the IL with elbow inflammation. It's in the joint. It is not structural. It is hoped it will be a relatively short stay on the IL. So Pinango might not even have been in Buffalo 24 hours before he turned around and came back. Couple of strikes now on Fraley, the right fielder. Signed as a free agent in the offseason with the Rays after splitting last year between Cincinnati and Atlanta. Caminero a short lead at first, 2 down in the inning. And the 0-2 is fought off into the seats. There's Barger looking on from the dugout. So again, hopefully a relatively short stay. They could use that arm. They could really use that bat more than anything. Another block by Valenzuela, and in part because of the air, but in part because the Rays will foul off a lot of pitches. Again, the best contact rate in the majors. What does that do? That can get your pitchers' pitch count up there early. Line towards the right field corner. It's a fair ball and off the wall on a bounce. Sanchez gets it back into the infield as Caminero holds at third on a ringing double by Fraley.
This splitter that didn't split stayed up in the zone, and Fraley was all over it, lining it into the right field corner. Valenzuela wants that ball down and away, and you can see it just hovered in the top half of the zone. It's a good job in right field by Sanchez getting this ball back in the direction of home plate. Sometimes you get baited into getting the batter runner at second base. Always get the ball in front of the lead runner. That stops Caminero at third.
And Brandon Valenzuela will use the opportunity to go to the mound and have a conversation with Gausman, and this could be strategic, but it also could just be, hey, this has been a long inning now, and wanting to give Gausman a bit of a break.
Long inning, it's been a tough go, and you can get out of this with 1 run if you make a really good pitch here somehow to Palacios. So that is the game plan right here against the Rays second baseman,
who, as you can see, is not off to a great start offensively, hitting just 192, and he comes into this game 0 for his last 17. Hits it sharply into right, a base hit. 1 run is home. Fraley on his way to the plate. It's a 2-run single and a 3-0 lead for the Rays.
Well, again, this pitch does not go down where he wants it to be. Kind of hovers up again. Catches a lot of the play. It's on the outer edge, but it's up a bit, and that's the one you can get to.
The 7th hitter to come to the plate this inning is center fielder Cedric Mullins, the longtime Baltimore Oriole. And by the way, Joe, for what it's worth, just a scoring change, but now the official score has changed it from an error on Gausman, giving Simpson a base hit on the play. I think Gausman would be the first to tell you he should have made that play.
Well, it wasn't hit very hard, and I think as pitchers, you always think it's a line drive 100 miles an hour back at you, but it was not the case. He just missed the baseball.
Right, but even after that, I mean, did he have time to pick it up? And you're thinking about the speed of Simpson as you're going after the ball, right? That's where speed complicates things, because it's always in the back of your mind how fast this guy is. Now the runner goes, and it's fouled off by Mullins. But could have been a much different inning had Gausman been able to make that play, or had he been able to catch the ball on the fly. But instead, the Blue Jays are in an early hole here tonight. Simpson isn't going to hit it far, but he's going to put the bat on the ball, and if he does that, basically to any extent, he's got a decent chance to get on base.
Just causes havoc, and we just saw it, especially with the hitters behind him.
And they feed off it. The 1-2 to Mullins. Lifted in the air to center in the direction of Varsho for the 3rd out. But the Rays get 3. Bottom of the first, and the Blue Jays down 3-0. George Springer did not play in yesterday's finale against the Angels. He's back in there DHing and leading off tonight in the opening game of this series. And a look at the lineup for John Schneider includes their most dangerous hitter right now, Kazuma Okamoto, on a 9-game hitting streak, 5 homers and 2 doubles in that stretch as well. Yohendrick Pinango, as we mentioned, is back. He is hitting second. Brandon Valenzuela, who had that huge game Saturday against the Angels, is in the 9 spot. The Jays will see a guy they saw 6 days ago in Drew Rasmussen.
Rasmussen is 30 years old. He's in his 6th season with the Rays. Spent parts of the first 2 seasons of his career in Milwaukee, but 2-1, that sub-3 ERA this year. That's coming off an all-star season last year. He went 6 against the Blue Jays last Tuesday, allowing 3 runs. Did not factor in the decision in that Rays 4-3 victory.
And he starts Springer with a cutter in for a called strike. That's a pitch that Rasmussen will throw a lot. He's thrown it very effectively.
It'll look a lot like a mini slider. Yeah. I think his cutter is almost more of a slider.
Did not go, and it is 1-1. Springer's last 2 at-bats on Saturday were a double and a single. He is back off the fractured toe and says it's not inhibiting him, but really looking to really get going. And uh-oh.
Shit.
He didn't, did he? Like, we'll have to see on the replay, but he didn't get that same toe, did he?
This is what Drew Rasmussen will do. He'll run that cutter in. There's the back foot.
He got the back foot.
He'll run that sinker in on right-handed batters, cutter away. Predominantly those 2 pitches, but that's what that sinker will do. It runs in on you, and you catch the top of the baseball and bounce it off your own foot.
You know what? He might want to get one of those guards on his right foot.
He might need to get some boots on.
Or some body armor.
Some steel-toed boots.
There's the protection he has on the big toe of his left foot. That's the toe that he fractured. And Rasmussen strikes him out.
Well, if that isn't Drew Rasmussen in a nutshell right there. Cutter. He's going to use that away to righties. He's going to run the sinker in, and then he'll ride that 4-seamer right there across those seams at the top. And that's the one that gives you a little bit of carry. And Kevin Cash talked about that today when he was describing Rasmussen. Those 3 planes right there, those 3 movement profiles, you're covering a lot of the zone.
So Yohendrick Pinango is back. Again, Addison Barger unfortunately back on the IL with that elbow issue. And you can see that Pinango was doing very well when he was sent down, hitting over 400. Good quality at-bats, hitting a lot of line drives. Kind of as advertised from what he was doing down at AAA.
From the left side, these left-handed hitters will get more of the forcing fastballs and cutters in. The profile doesn't change for Rasmussen. He's just really good at executing his pitches.
Breaking ball taken down and in, a ball and 2 strikes. John Schneider's team has not had much fun at all in recent years in playing the Rays. I think everybody watching probably knows that, as this is grounded left side. The third baseman Caminero up with it and makes a good strong throw to get him for out number 2.
Well, that's what you do with 2 strikes. You just kind of battle, and Pinango does a nice job putting this ball in play, forcing the third baseman to his right, but he picks it cleanly. Probably didn't have to throw off balance, but it's right on the mark. Nice play. Good strong arm from over there as well, Caminero.
So 2 down, and here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. Guerrero's average still over 300. He is still looking to get that power stroke going. 2 homers, 17 RBIs.
I was watching him take batting practice today, and I'd like to think I saw something. And what it is a little bit more controlling that forward movement and staying behind the ball a little bit more. So not, in other words, not kind of jumping out to the pitcher so much. If he settles that and controls that move, picks up the ball a little bit better.
If you are trying to hit home runs because you're not hitting home runs, do you tend to jump out at the pitcher?
You want to go get it, and then you start chasing hits, and you start chasing power, chasing slug, all those bad things, and you rush.
2 balls, 2 strikes.
When you rush, it's because you're trying to catch up, and that's why his first move might even be a little bit earlier here tonight. We'll keep an eye on him throughout the evening, but if you start your move earlier, the whole idea in hitting is to get to that good launch position and then just fire. You don't want that body going forward. Now you got a fastball running in on you, and it's making it look like it's 110 miles an hour.
Very high, and it's full. Guerrero 6 for 37 in his last 10 games, and all 6 hits are singles. The 3-2. And he takes strike 3 called. A fastball over the outside edge from Rasmussen to get him. And Rasmussen, a tough customer, one of the better starters in the American League, gets the Blue Jays in order.
Bet365.
Well, a difficult season for Eric Lauer came to a head this afternoon at Rogers Center when the Blue Jays designated him for assignment. You likely saw yesterday when Lauer gave up 6 runs over 5 innings, including 3 very long homers. And the other thing that you saw was the stuff that just was not the same as it was a year ago. And these are really the reasons why the Blue Jays DFA'd him. The results weren't there. The fastball velocity was down. He was missing a couple inches of movement on his cutter. So that begs the question, who could fill his spot in the rotation? Well, the Blue Jays are leaving that question open. I was told today that they are actively pursuing external ads. They're trying to find a team willing to deal a pitcher, but trades this time of year can be difficult to make. They often end up underwhelming. I wouldn't expect the Blue Jays to acquire a big name. Internally, the Blue Jays are no stranger to bullpen days. Chad Dallas has been impressive at AAA, and Austin Voth could make a spot start if the Blue Jays get into a bind.
Arden, thank you. So lots of possibilities, but one thing there isn't a lot of is off days coming up. There's one Thursday, and then the Blue Jays play 17 games in 17 days. So whatever they do in that spot, they're going to have to do over and over and over. So as Arden says, could it be a Chad Dallas or an Austin Voth or a CJ Van Eyck? Could they try to cobble it together with Spencer Miles and maybe Ariel Rodriguez, who was called up to take the roster spot of Eric Lauer? You saw Miles. How good was he yesterday? Rodriguez is back. We'll tell you more about what's been going on with him in Buffalo when we have an opportunity. And John Schneider brought this up. He said Ross Atkins and the front office are looking around, and it could be an external ad, like a trade, presumably. You don't often see trades in May, obviously. 1-2. And a base hit into right field for the catcher, Hunter Fiducia, to lead off the second. But whatever they do, you know, if you're cobbling it together, there's a risk there, obviously, in overworking your bullpen. You'd like to get somebody established to fill that spot, but Max Scherzer is on the IL. Had a cortisone shot in his forearm, and we found out today another one today in his thumb. So it's going to be a while. Jose Barrios is seeing Dr. Keith Meister tomorrow about his elbow. Shane Bieber is going to face live hitters tomorrow, so he is starting to ramp up. But until he gets into rehab games, you can't say anything is all that close. Like, it's going to be a while for any of these guys.
And it's one thing you could combine maybe Spencer Miles with Yariel Rodriguez, but you just talked about 17 days. You can't do that 3 times in a row.
Couple of strikes on the number 9 hitter Taylor Walls, who is hitting just 198. He's a 195 career hitter. Very good defensive player. Switch hitter. Fiducia a short lead, being held on by Guerrero. And that splitter misses outside. It is 1 ball, 2 strikes. Obviously, the Blue Jays feel awfully good about the top 4 they've got in their rotation. And Gausman, Cease, Savage, Corbin, but Pete Walker probably lying awake at night a little bit thinking about that 5th spot right now.
And I'm sure a lot of teams do. When you're looking at that 5th spot, there are not too many teams that have 5 solid starting pitchers.
How about that? He squared to bunt with 2 strikes on him. Felt confident enough with Okamoto way off the line that he could drop a bunt down, but then he decided, hey, it's not a strike, and he took it.
You just never know what they're up to.
Yeah.
Kevin Cash is open to anything.
And instead, he lines it to right center. And it'll go to the wall. Fiducia is getting the wave around third. Walls is on his way to third and in there with a triple. And it's 4-0.
Well, it doesn't appear as though Kevin's got that good downward movement on his splitter tonight. A lot of them are fading, and then the fastball, when it's right down the middle, there's not a whole lot to lay off of. They're just looking in the zone, and that's a straight heater right in the middle of the plate.
The Rays, who swept the Blue Jays last week, out early, up 4-0. Infield in for the Blue Jays. Here's Simpson. Taps it to first. Runner coming home, and they got him. A good throw by Guerrero and a great tag by Valenzuela.
This is the defense the Blue Jays need to start playing more consistently. This is an outstanding play by Guerrero. Watch the runner take off. He's going on contact. Guerrero gets rid of it quickly. Valenzuela leaves him room. He doesn't go get the ball at all. He allows the ball to travel to about the chalk line there, catches it, and applies the tag in one sweep. It's a very similar move Valenzuela made on Barger's throw the other day. Did a good job where you receive the ball and how you apply the tag.
Boy, everything had to be done perfectly on that play, and it was by both guys. So Walls out at the plate. Simpson reaches on a fielder's choice. Caminero is the batter. I'm a little surprised Walls was going with nobody out, considering the next guys are Caminero, Aranda, and Diaz.
Yeah, he's got speed. He had a good lead. He did everything right, but that's the gamble. I don't think it's worth the gamble with these guys coming up after you.
Caminero had a base hit to right in the first inning. Simpson draws a throw. Among major league leaders already with 12 stolen bases, Chandler Simpson. Tampa Bay as a team has 40 in the top 5 of the majors. He stumbled. I don't know if he was going and broke it down, or did he just stumble?
It did look like his foot slipped to me. He's always thinking of going. Right there, that left foot maybe, when he tried to take off. The problem is it's a great play at the plate to cut down the runner, but then you get left with this guy in first base. It could be on second any time.
There he goes. Swing and a miss. Throw down by Valenzuela. It is not in time. It'll be a stolen base for Simpson, number 13.
You see Gausman doing everything that he can to try to hold the ball. It's a bit of a leg kick right there. So you see a leg kick like that, it's going to be tough on any catcher. And I think Valenzuela did everything he could to try to make up the time, but you just can't make it up with a guy with that speed.
A couple of strikes now on Caminero. Pulled foul. Caminero 45 home runs a year ago. Now granted, the Rays play their home games at Steinbrenner Field at a minor league facility, but he's already got 11 this year. And again, he is all of 22 years old. When you get a little bit older, you got to have a little heating pad on your back to stay loose. Up the middle, and Clements got it. Nice backhanded play to get Caminero for the second out. Simpson to third. Caminero looking at a replay. Gausman as well. Now 2 down and a runner at third for Jonathan Aranda, who had a sac fly to left in the first. Ball 1.
See that splitter just fading away. And I think when Kevin is at his best, that splitter's going more straight down. A little bit having to do with the grip, a little bit to do with the release.
And a broken bat base hit into shallow left center to bring home another run and make it 5-0.
He has been an RBI machine, staying with that pitch down and away. Shatters his bat, but he's able to stay through it long enough. There's that split grip, and it right off the end of the bat shatters it, but he stays through it long enough to get it up and over Jimenez's head into left center field.
And he has now taken over the American League lead in runs driven in at 31. The Rays are on quite a run right now. They have won 14 of their last 16. Pitching has been the biggest reason. The offense has been good and opportunistic and timely. The pitching has been extraordinary. In some cases, record-setting. We'll tell you more about that a little bit later. But they started off the year at 2-5, and now they're 26-13 with the best record in the American League. Fouled off. One and 2 on Yandy Diaz, who struck out in the first against Gausman.
He struck him out on an elevated fastball, and going back to that last game Tuesday, I think Kevin feels pretty good his fastball against Diaz. See if he doesn't stay with it here. That would beat him pretty good.
Like he threw him a slider there, 1-2, and Diaz pops it foul.
That's a pitch to me that scares me, because if your fastball's beating him, that slider that's spinning where that just spun, dangerous.
Again, the 1-2. And a drive to deep center. Varsho back and has just enough room to make the catch in front of the wall to retire the side. But 2 more for the Rays, and they're up 5-0.
pouring out of that thing.
Well, with all the injuries the Blue Jays have had on the position player side, where would they be without Kazuma Okamoto, who after a slow couple of weeks at the beginning of the season has some kind of turned it on and has been their best hitter so far this year.
It's amazing that you can make an adjustment, and we've talked about it at length about his move in the batter's box, but it was the first couple of weeks that were difficult. He adjusted all right, and he's able to get to everything right now. He's feeling very comfortable on his swings and misses. I think some strikeouts have actually looked fine. His approach has been so good, but he can't be the only one.
Right.
This lineup over this next 40 games needs contributions from elsewhere.
He hit a home run last week off Rasmussen down at the Trop. He's got 10 of them on the season. He's on a 9-game hitting streak entering this game tonight. Takes a fastball for a strike, and it's 1-1.
And that was the pitch there that he hit out as a fastball out over the plate. He drilled it into the right center seats.
Tops that one foul, 1-2. Dalton Varsho, Jesus Sanchez to follow here in the bottom of the second. It to left field, and it will drop in front of Simpson for a base hit, and the hitting streak is now 10.
And that's a good example of it right there. He's battling against a really good pitcher with 2 strikes. Not trying to do too much there. It stays up and out over, and he's able to just get the barrel to it for a base hit into left field. That is very good 2-strike hitting.
A leadoff single, and here's Dalton Varsho at .258 on the season. You may remember Varsho kind of jammed his heel on first base in the 8th inning of yesterday's game. A little bit sore, says John Schneider, but nothing too serious. Obviously, he is in the lineup. That's high. It's 1-1. Long look down to Carlos Fabulous at third. The Blue Jays in an early hole here in game 1 of this series against the Rays.
It's so tough because you know your offense is struggling. You're up against a pretty good one out on the mound, but you can't think of 5 right now. You've got to think about just putting good at-bats together, grinding down this starting pitcher, and just pecking away.
Hit down the left field line, foul, and out of play, 2-2. We do not see Dalton Varsho hit foul balls down the left field line into the second deck like hardly ever. Kevin Gausman's got to have a lot of thoughts going through his mind right now with the way that this one has started. Good takedown and in, 3-2. Jesus Sanchez is on deck, hitting in the 6th spot tonight. And another foul off, this one over the third base dugout. Varsho kind of quietly over his last 13 games is hitting over 300. He's got a different profile as a hitter so far this year, and it's early, than last year. The strikeout rate is way down, but the power is down as well. This is going to find some green, as they say, as he drops it into left for a base hit. Okamoto up to second.
We'll take that. That's a 3-2 cutter. It's coming in on Dalton. Gets jammed a little bit. I don't know if it broke his bat or not, but yes, it did. But he will take it. And this is what I mean about pecking away. Just have good at-bats, string good at-bats together.
So 2 on with nobody out for Sanchez, who is hitting .240 with 5 homers. Just .205 over his last 24 games. He got off to a pretty good start this year, but has cooled off over the last several weeks. Fastball for a strike. 2. And we see this sometimes. He's best at hitting the fastball down. Took the one down for a strike and then went after a much more challenging pitch for him up in the zone.
I think because Rasmussen is around the zone so much, he's not going to walk you. You have to be ready to hit for pitch 1. You don't want to get behind against this guy.
He's way up among the leaders in first pitch strikes. Back towards the mound. Rasmussen will get 1, and that's all. They'll force Varsho at second. Fielder's choice, first and third, 1 out.
Well, he got jammed pretty good. I'm not sure Rasmussen knew what to do with it right away. You're always thinking to, but you also want to make sure that you get the one little double pump, but he does get the lead runner at second.
And as soon as he threw it, he said to Taylor Walls, hold on to the ball. Don't throw it again. Which I think Taylor Walls knew. Here's Ernie Clement trying to get the Blue Jays on the scoreboard tonight. And it's popped up very shallow right field. And this is not going to do it as the second baseman Palacios makes the catch for the second out.
And that's a tough one because you know how Ernie thinks. He's looking for a first pitch fastball, and he got one. It was at the top of the zone, but he just could not square it up.
That's the second out. So now it's up to Andres Jimenez. Hitting .244, but he has been one of the better clutch hitters on the team this year. He's hitting .333 with an OPS of 800 with runners in scoring position. Can he deliver here? Okamoto's at third, Sanchez at first.
This is what good pitchers do, right? They make good pitches at critical times, and I thought that was a pitch that Ernie can handle. We've seen him handle it before. But it's a sinker at the top of the zone. Tough to get on top of it to square it up, and now he's after Jimenez.
David Popkins undoubtedly doing a lot of work with a lot of guys trying to unlock what each of them has. Injuries obviously a big part of this, but it's not all of this. A number of the healthy guys just aren't performing it the way they're expected to and they're accustomed to.
Yeah, and I think to truly evaluate this offense, we're going to have to wait till Springer is fully back now, and then Barger's back, and then Kirk's back. But they have to come back and be good too.
Here's a ball driven to deep right. It's gone. Jimenez coming through with a big 3-run homer to get the Blue Jays back into it.
You know what managers love? They love 3-run homers. One swing in the bat and you're right back in the ballgame.
His 4th home run on the season, and suddenly it is a 2-run game.
And that is as a result of some very good at-bats that they've been able to string together this inning against Rasmussen.
Number 9 hitter is Brandon Valenzuela. Ground ball backhanded by Palacios out at second, and that'll end the inning. But Andres Jimenez has brought some life back into the building with a 2-out, 3-run homer, turning around a 97-mile-an-hour fastball. And it's 5-3 Rays at the end of 2. Boy, it's early in this game, but with the Rays jumping out early and with the Rays being the Rays, it felt kind of bleak around here, but Andres Gimenez has changed the vibe in the ballpark.
Well, with what Drew Rasmussen does against left-handed batters, you have to be aware of the ball in, and with 2 strikes, you're battling, and Gimenez tees off on this pitch, or a 2-1 count, tees off on this pitch. Sometimes you got to take a shot. Take a shot that Cutter fastball's coming in, and he did, and he was right.
I would think Kevin Gausman takes the mound feeling a little bit better about things right now. His team back within 2. He'll face the 5, 6, 7 hitters in the Rays order, beginning with Jake Fraley, who doubled and scored in the first. Rasmussen looks steamed after giving up that 2-out 3-run homer.
It's a very rare slider from Gausman to a left-handed batter. Wonder if that's batter specific. Maybe they just feel that that's a better pitch, or as I was saying earlier, that splitter just does not seem to be behaving the way he wants it to tonight, fading away from these lefties.
And if you're a 4, 5, 6 pitch guy and one pitch is not behaving, you can compensate a little bit easier than Kevin Gausman can. There's a good splitter. That one going straight down, and he gets Fraley for the first out of the inning and career strikeout number 1999.
You see how he got over that one, maybe pulled it a little bit more to get more of that straight down movement, and that really fooled the left-handed hitter.
I'm sure the last thing Gausman is thinking about right now is 2,000 strikeouts, given that the Rays have scored 5 runs off him, but it will be a notable accomplishment. It is something very few active pitchers have done, and not all that many all time. And there's Richie Palacios, a big swing and a foul tip. It's 0-1. Palacios had a 2-out 2-run single to cap the 3-run first. They're counting along. Popped up. Okamoto. 2 down.
Hit a grand slam with your next project and head to your local Home Hardware. With over 1,000 locations across Canada, Home Hardware is locally owned, genuinely Canadian.
Glad you're with us tonight. Dan Schulman, Joe Siddall, Arden Zwelling. It is Rays 5, Blue Jays 3. Top of the 3rd. Here's Cedric Mullins, 0 for 1 on a fly ball to center. Mullins at one point a very good two-way player, offensively and defensively. Had some big years for Baltimore, but among all qualified hitters right now, and there are 177 of them around the majors, he is dead last in batting average and OPS. Sends it foul. It's 2-1.
Hit 30 home runs one year.
That was an all-star. Spent some time with the Mets towards the back half of last year after being traded by the Orioles, and then signed a free agent deal, a 1-year contract with the Rays. High fly to right. It is playable for Sanchez, and that's the 3rd out. 3 up, 3 down. Gausman gets him in the top of the 3rd. Are you a Rogers customer? Watch for Canada's winning inning during the game. When the Blue Jays get a hit, you could win amazing prizes courtesy of Rogers Beyond the Scene. Another big crowd here on a Monday night to open up this series with the Rays. Top of the order, beginning with George Springer, who struck out against Drew Rasmussen in the first. Rasmussen got the top third of the order in the first. Springer on a strikeout, Piñango on a ground out, and Guerrero on a strikeout. Well, he spun around, but first base ump Chris Siegel says he didn't swing. I think George might be hearing it, or the first base ump is hearing it from the Rays dugout. George is just listening in. How do you evaluate that?
See, I've always felt like he's clearly getting out of the way of it, but you've seen those called strikes sometimes because of the barrel coming around. There's that good sinker from Rasmussen, up and in.
Swings through a fastball, and it's 1-2. That was 97 there from Rasmussen as Kevin Cash, the longtime manager of the Rays, looks on.
Those two fastballs, now you got to go back that cutter away, right? Like that first pitch. Yep.
Taken down and away, 2-2. You're right. It does feel more sliderish than cutterish.
A cutter is a cut fastball. Well, really, a cutter for me is a four-seam fastball that cuts a bit.
Weekly past the mound. Walls the shortstop, charges and makes the play. One down. So now Piñango. And again, as soon as Piñango came back, there he is up in the 2 spot. He led off once or twice before he was sent down. And it'll be interesting tomorrow night when Shane McClanahan is on the mound for the Rays. One of the better pitchers in the American League, and more relevantly to this conversation, a lefty, because when McClanahan faced the Blue Jays at the Trop last week, the only left-handed bat in the lineup was Piñango. He's had good at-bats.
He has. He's had good at-bats, and that's why I really like him in the 2-hole here. Very good knowledge of the strike zone. Don't see him expanding a whole lot. Force that pitcher in the zone, especially somebody like Rasmussen, who is in the zone a lot.
And I'll tell you, there's another left-hand hitting outfielder that Blue Jays have. After having like none for several years, now they're everywhere. There's another left-hand hitting outfielder in the system who should be mentioned. R.J. Schreck was just named the International League Player of the Week. He went 15 for 25 with 5 doubles and 2 homers. And after an ice-cold start, he is about the hottest hitter in the minors right now. But Piñango, and you can understand why. He just got sent down, and he did very well, so he comes back when Barger goes on the IL. That's ball 4. Oh, and Nathan Lucas is hopefully going to be in rehab games over the weekend down in Florida, which means he could be back maybe in a week and a half or something like that. Time somebody comes back, somebody else seems to, right? So they're just trying to get everybody healthy. Piñango at first, 1 out. Here's Guerrero, who was called out on strikes in the first. To make the catch for out number 2.
Rasmussen really mixes in those 2 fastballs, the 4-seamer and the sinker, and that sinker ran in there just enough. And you can see the hitting coaches, they're at a little bit of a loss too. They want to see their hitters do well. You're putting in all the hours in the cages, watching video. I'm sure they're doing everything extensively to try to get Vladdy back on track. Piñango back in safely ahead of the throw.
With Kaz Okamoto at the plate for the Blue Jays, had a base hit and scored on the Jimenez home run. Guerrero laying the bat back down. He is 0 for 2 tonight.
That's what you were referring to earlier, Dan, when you said to me, you know, every one of Kaz's swings looks good. That swing looked good. He was right on it, just missed it, but just feeling very comfortable.
Yeah, even every out, every foul ball feels like he's just missing it. Every swing is full of intent right now from him. It's the A swing. Everything's better. The takes are better.
And it goes back to your move to the baseball. He's so quiet. He just gets that little load with his leg lift, and it just looks like he's sitting there seeing the ball well before he decides to fire.
He checked it, and it is 3-1. Pinyango, the runner at first, 2 down here in the bottom of the 3rd. Ripped foul behind Carlos Fablis, 3-2. If it continues, Dalton Varsho comes up.
I'm sure Okamoto, too, will slowly, continually to get more comfortable with the opposing pitchers. You know, 3-1, 3-2 there. What's he expecting? Is he thinking more middle in here? Is he looking cutter away?
And a swing and a miss on a cutter away. A nasty pitch from Rasmussen. Through 3. Rays up 5-3.
Z is for Zepbound. A is for asking. Zepbound. To begin the conversation. Zepbound. Is Zepbound the right choice for you? Ask a doctor about Zepbound. Visit zepbound.ca for savings. Zepbound.
Top of the 4th inning, and the Rays leading the Blue Jays 5-3. They got 3 off Kevin Gausman in the first, 2 in the second. And 3 of the 5 runs have scored on 2-out hits so far for the Rays. Then again, all 3 of the runs for the Blue Jays came on a 2-out hit. That was by Andres Jimenez in the bottom of the 2nd. Again, Gausman 1 strikeout away from 2,000 in his career. He will become just the 6th active pitcher to reach that milestone, and the 91st pitcher ever. And you know, baseball's been around a long time, so to be part of a club that has fewer than 100 members in it is pretty special. Again, it's probably the last thing on Gausman's mind right now. That's a strike in and out of the mid of Valenzuela. Just 1-1.
That's what the ABS system will do now. You can do all you want with your glove and try to frame that, make it look. It doesn't even matter whether you catch it.
Max Scherzer, of course, another member of that 2,000 strikeout club. Max is a member of the 3,000 strikeout club. He is second among active pitchers behind Justin Verlander in strikeouts.
Well, 1, you have to do it for a long time, and 2, you have to be pretty electric, and we remember Max in his prime. Mid to upper 90s with some great breaking pitches.
Splitter taken low, 2-2 on the catcher, Hunter Fiducia. Gausman, a first-round pick by the Orioles, made his major league debut back in 2013. This is his 14th big league season. Foul back. In year 5 with the Blue Jays. The 2-2 again. And he got him. And there it is, his 3rd strikeout tonight and career strikeout number 2,000 for Kevin Gausman, becoming just the 6th active pitcher. And you can see the dugout is asking for the baseball. There is the acknowledgement up on the scoreboard. And a standing ovation for Kevin Gausman here at the Rogers Center. Again, I'm sure he wishes the scoreboard was a little bit different. He could probably savor this a little bit more. There's a lot of games still to be played. It's got to be challenging. You kind of step out of your game face for a moment. I mean, you know,
and he knew it.
And he knew it. And, you know, I'm sure a little bit emotional on the inside, but now you got to get right back into the game.
It's such a great accomplishment, as we said, with Max and the 3,000. Kevin Gausman's done this a long time, and you have to be very good for a long time. Kevin Cash paid him the utmost respect earlier today by saying he's been good for a long time now. And he's had to evolve.
Yes.
We've seen him in a Blue Jays uniform evolve a little bit. Might not have the strikeouts as much now as we saw a few years ago, but he still pitches very effectively, pitches to a lot of soft contact. Doesn't walk many. He's around the zone.
Here's the list of the 6 active pitchers now with 2,000 strikeouts. Verlander and Scherzer way ahead of the pack. Chris Sale, Garrett Cole, Yu Darvish, who has been injured, hasn't pitched this year, and now Kevin Gausman. That's a strike. 2-2. And remember, at times Gausman kind of lost it with a couple of teams, lost his spot in the rotation. It was a reliever, had to, you know, it wasn't like he was hanging on to his career by a thread or anything like that. But as you say, he evolved, and certainly once he got to the Giants and then to the Blue Jays. There's another strikeout. 4th tonight, 2001 now in his career. It's something that Gausman, I know it means a lot to him, and Max Scherzer understood it right away, that ball being authenticated in the moment. And that's Gausman thanking the crowd for the ovation that they gave him. And you and I know this because we've been around him for 5 years now. He's a pro.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
If we could let the fans in on the conversations that we have with Kevin in the clubhouse. I love to talk to him before a start. We talk about his last start, what you're playing against this team, the strategy, and again, talking about how he's evolved. If I don't have my best fastball, what am I going to do with my splitter? If the splitter's not feeling real good today, how do I? This is basically a 2-pitch pitcher that he's doing it with. He mixes in the slider, but we've seen the league adjust to him. We've seen the league over the last couple of years at times lay off the splitter down. So what's he do? He throws more fastballs down the zone. It's just this continually adjusting.
1-2, the count on Chandler Simpson. One of the tougher guys to strike out in the big leagues. Gausman with now 4 tonight. His first year with the Blue Jays, 205 strikeouts. His second year, 237. He's also a few weeks away from reaching 2,000 innings, which he told me he'll be even prouder of, more so than the strikeouts. Just the ability to take the ball and get out there and compete.
Starting pitchers take a lot of pride in that volume. That's so important to them. I remember Justin Verlander back in the day talking about how important the number of innings was, because you're out there for 6 and 7 innings in your start. It's helping your team. Number one, you're pitching well, but number two, you're saving that bullpen.
The 2-2 sails up and away. It's a full count. Caminero on deck if Simpson gets on. The 3-2. And another foul off by Simpson.
He's not going to let you strike him out easily at all.
8 pitches and counting. Bouncer weakly hit towards Guerrero. The flip to Gausman, and Simpson's just too fast. That'll be an infield hit.
I mean, it's unbelievable the way you've talked about Chandler Simpson since the beginning of this broadcast, and then you think of a couple of the balls that he has hit and just caused all kinds of problems for the Blue Jays. And the problems are just starting. Now he's on first base, getting ready to try to steal second again. Lightning.
Just nothing you can do.
No.
I mean, you hear the phrase, he outran the baseball, which I don't know if anybody can actually do that, but if anybody could, it's him. I mean, Guerrero and Gausman did what they were supposed to do.
Yeah, as soon as it was hit, I almost just chuckled to myself and said, there's no way.
So now Caminero is up with a man on. He is 1 for 2.
Would love to see Kevin be quick to the plate just to give Valenzuela a shot with that cannon of an arm he's got.
Simpson's already got a stolen base in this game. That came back in the second.
I mean, he's been caught, right? He's got
4 times. Yeah.
4 times he's been caught, so it's not like it's perfect. So if you're right, if your pitcher gives your catcher a chance and everything blends there, time-wise, accurate throw, you can get him.
Valenzuela, one of the stronger arms in the big leagues. Another throw. Valenzuela's pop time 1.90. Talk about that a little bit.
Excellent. Yeah, if your major league average is usually around 2, and that's changed a little bit over the years, but 2 is the pop time from the time it enters your catcher's mitt till the time the ball enters the infielder's mitt at second base. So that's 2.0 seconds or 1.9. It's only a tenth of a second.
Right.
But it's a lot. It's the difference in safe and out down there. That's what you're talking about.
2 disengagements already for Gausman. Everybody was yelling and pointing as if maybe Gausman balked, and he did. Or did...
I heard the Rays yelling from their side.
Everybody was yelling. Simpson at first, Caminero at the plate. They all started pointing right away. Was it the clock or was it a balk? I think there was a little
Movement.
down and away. Was there just a bit of a twitch, like a hip turn? But both Simpson and Caminero pointed at the same time at Gausman, and nobody argued.
But then by stepping off, you're guaranteeing him second base.
As soon as you step off, it's the 3rd disengagement.
Exactly.
Right? So there you go. I think it just might have been that. He's trying to steal 3rd. And the throw gets into left, and he's going to come home. And Chandler Simpson, with his speed on his own, manufactures a run for the Rays.
What an exciting player that can just cause havoc on the base pass and put pressure on defenses. Valenzuela comes up, does the right thing. You have to come in behind the hitter right here, but you look at the throw, just take off and run right into the runner and into left field.
Infield hit, a balk, a stolen base, and a throwing error. Do you think, stealing 3rd with 2 outs is not something you see many guys do? I don't know if he's so much just trying to get to 3rd with 2 outs. I think he's trying to do that, to draw a rush throw that might go into left field I mean, that's the best case scenario
But
for
with
him,
this
right?
guy at the plate, that's not when you do those things. Those are the parts of what Chandler Simpson does. I'm maybe disagreeing a little bit, but clearly it's working for the Rays tonight.
He just creates havoc.
And it's so tough. I know as a catcher back there, when a guy like that gets on base, you are just on high alert with everything you do. It's like your body tenses up because you know you have to be perfect. So the pitcher probably does that a little bit. The infielders do that a little bit. Everybody is just on high alert.
The ball that he hit to Guerrero, 95% of major league hitters are out on that play. Like, this inning's over a long time ago.
Even with Gausman going over to cover first base. But as soon as Vladdy has to leave his position to field it, you're done.
Ground ball to third. Okamoto's got it and throws out Caminero. So another run for the Rays, and it's 6-3 going to the bottom of the fourth.
TV Plus.
So an inning that features a great milestone for Kevin Gausman, his 2,000th career strikeout, but then the Rays get another run. This is the balk, a little twitch there, and that's when the Rays start yelling, but the umpires don't appear to do anything until he steps off. And because he had thrown over twice already, stepping off is the third disengagement, and if you don't pick the runner off when you step off for the third time, it's a balk, and it's 90 feet. So one way or another, Simpson got to second base. But I don't know that I've ever seen, I shouldn't say ever, how often do you see one guy manufacture a run all on his own purely because of his speed? Varsho hooks the ball to right field, deep but playable on the track for Fraley, one down.
Well, Kevin, with that little move, had the runner on first, the first base coach, the batter, the Rays bench, all yelling, but I'm not sure I saw an umpire move at all, and that's why it was really when he stepped off the back of the rubber that they awarded him second base.
Yeah, and maybe it was the first base umpire, Chris Siegel. We saw the home plate umpire there, Brian Onora, but boy, has Simpson had a hand in a lot of the stuff the Rays have been doing tonight. Here's Jesus Sanchez, 0 for 1 on a fielder's choice.
What a pitch that is. There's that sinker that he starts in on a left-handed batter. You give up on it, it comes right back over.
And again, Sanchez just seems a little bit caught in between, swinging at pitches that are out of the zone or not in his good spots, and then taking some. That was a nasty pitch, but taking some that catch more of the plate. His chase rate, the percentage of times he swings at pitches out of the strike zone, is the highest it has been at any point in his career.
And he's definitely being crowded. See a lot of those pitches coming inside, and then they'll go up and away. But the way he sinks into his legs, he can have trouble with the ball up and out over the plate. That's what he might have been trying to do with that four-seam fastball.
He got jammed, fights it off, and it's going to drop in right center for a base hit. All right, one last look at the balk play. We just wanted to show this to you because now we have a shot of Simpson at first. Simpson yelling about the hip twist. And then Chris Siegel, see that 3? That is the sign that is the third disengagement. They didn't get Gausman for the little hip twitch. They got him for stepping off.
And that's why Siegel turned to the Rays dugout. He was hearing it from the dugout because what they're yelling is, what do you mean third disengagement? It was a balk before you even called that. So he advances on the third disengagement, but I do think we all saw that little move that should have been called a balk initially.
Ernie Clement, the batter. Clement popped up in the second. One on, one out, bottom 4. And Clement lifts the ball to right field. Fraley backing up a few steps will make the catch. 2 down. So with 2 outs, it'll be Andres Jimenez who is responsible for all 3 runs the Blue Jays have tonight. Lining one down the right field line for his 4th home run of the season. With the 3 RBIs tonight, Jimenez now has 21 on the season. He is second on the team to Kazuo Okamoto, a quarter of the way through the season. And granted, injuries have something to do with this, but the overall numbers are not overwhelming. But as we mentioned just before he hit the home run, he's done a really nice job with runners in scoring position. He did it again tonight. If he could just keep doing what he's doing offensively for the rest of the year, I think the Blue Jays will be happy.
He was on quite a roll there earlier. Rare curveball that time from Rasmussen. Bigger break, slower. But oftentimes you see that, and it's just a little different look before he goes back to his bread and butter. That can be one of 2 things: the fastball up or the cutter in. Looks like he's going up and away.
Fastball up, and he could not hold up on the swing. End of 4. The Rays 6 and the Blue Jays 3.
Airbnb.
This season, Rogers is handing over ownership of Canada's team to the fans. Jenny Erskine of Langford, BC, was last weekend's Rogers Game Day owner of the Blue Jays, winning an all-access ownership experience. Fans can apply to be a Rogers Game Day owner by visiting rogers.com/Game Day owner. Top 5 here at the Rogers Center. Dan Shulman, Joe Siddle, Arden Zwelling, opening game of 3. The Rays 6 and the Blue Jays 3. The Rays in first place in the American League East, and in fact have the best record in the league. They're a game up on the Yankees, and the Yankees are leading the Orioles 2-0 tonight. Ryan Weathers has thrown, or had thrown, a no-hitter through 6, but has just given up a hit in the bottom of the 7th. Blue Jays will be in the Bronx next week. This feels like a Big Ten game stretch. 3 against Tampa Bay, 3 in Detroit, and granted the Tigers are not off to the greatest start this year, but that's still a pretty good team. And then 4 in the Bronx. The first time the Blue Jays will see the Yankees this season.
So strange not seeing a lot of AL East early on this season, and then now it's going to come in bunches.
Jonathan Aranda's got a sac fly and an RBI single. And Mason Fluharty is up in the bullpen. Kevin Gausman working here in the 5th at 86 pitches. A string of lefties coming soon. But the way this Tampa Bay roster is constructed, if there's a string of lefties coming soon, there's a string of righties on the bench. Now, that doesn't mean Kevin Cash will go to them at this point of the game. We'll see about that.
This is his left-handed hitting lineup.
Aranda lifts one to deep center field, and it's going to get out of here. Jonathan Aranda with his 8th home run of the season. It just kept carrying to right center, and the Rays now lead 7-3.
I thought this was a fly ball when he hit it. It was a fastball up in the zone. I didn't think he quite got to it. And I thought it'd be medium to deep center field, but he drove it better than I initially thought. I think Kevin knew it too, the way he put his head down.
Aranda last year hit .316, 14 homers, OPS .882. This year he's hitting for more power. This is, I think, one of the more underrated hitters in baseball. That doesn't get a lot of attention. He is a tough out. Yandy Diaz with a bouncer to Ernie Clement out at second for out number 1. Let's go to Arden.
Well, it's fair to say Kevin Gausman hasn't looked quite like himself tonight. Maybe he's not feeling quite like himself as well. On the left is a still from the first 2 innings, and on the right is a still from the 3rd and 4th inning. In between the 2nd and 3rd innings, he made a little mechanical adjustment, bringing his hands up. They were down to begin the game.
Do you think that means he was trying to conceal what he was throwing? Maybe worried the Rays had something, or maybe just changing his mechanics for whatever
You know,
reason?
I had made the comment when he was having all that trouble the first couple of innings that the splitters weren't great. It looked like they were taking off on him. So was it a different spot to perhaps change his grip to alter his delivery? Usually when pitchers do that right there, what Arden just showed, they feel like maybe they're showing something, tipping something to the other team. So I wonder if he thought something was not being concealed. They had some hits off the splitters. They weren't great splitters. They were up in the zone when I described most of them.
So now 7-3 for Rasmussen and the Rays here in the 5th. So far tonight, Gausman out in front of him 1-2. Foul. Gausman doing what he can to try to get through 5 so that the bullpen doesn't have to do too much here tonight. Splitter in the dirt, 2-2.
You go back to that first inning, Chandler Simpson hit that soft line drive back at him, base hit, but it was Caminero who lined a fastball into right field, and then Aranda hit that fastball for the sac fly, where I was saying I'd like to see a splitter right there, but you know, were they sitting fastball? Did they know something? Was something being tipped? possibly. But I thought a couple of the splitters, the one to Fraley that hit the double down the right field line, it was just up. It wasn't a good splitter. So I mean, if you know a splitter's coming in and you're sitting on it, I guess you could get to it, but I think that was just not a good quality pitch. And Palacios, the 0-0 splitter, was the same thing.
Strike 3 call to get Fraley for the second out. Well, we'll see if Gausman gets asked about it after the game about why he made the change. But again, just a couple of the seemingly little moments with Simpson that made things so much more complicated, because he's one of just a handful of guys who reaches base in the fourth inning. And if it's basically anybody but Simpson, Gausman probably takes a little bit more time, picks up that ball, makes the play at first, because he's not worried about the world's fastest man going down the line. But Simpson knows what he is, what he can do, and he exploits it to the fullest. Just hit it hard somewhere and keep running until they tag me out.
Well, the last 3 innings do look much different than the first 2 for sure. There's all kinds of problems going on. So if they were onto something, somebody noticed.
There's a base hit up the middle for Richie Palacios, his second hit of the game. Gausman now at 99 pitches, and it looks like John Schneider is making his way onto the field, and that is going to be all. So a tough one for Kevin Gausman tonight, who has been so good this season. Again, he does pick up a really nice milestone, but it's not in the kind of game that he wanted to get it. He relieved with the Blue Jays trailing 7-3. Still gets a nice ovation from the crowd as Mason Fluharty makes his way in.
Soft.
So the night is over for Kevin Gausman. He goes 4 2/3 here tonight. It is 7-3 Rays, as John Schneider will give his veteran starter a hug. Again, not the kind of night that Gausman was hoping for. They jumped on him early. Mason Fluharty in here to try to finish things off in the top of the 5th with a runner at first, 2 down, and the left-hand hitting Cedric Mullins at the plate. Fluharty drops a sweeper in for a called strike. Mullins, a couple of fly ball outs tonight. Weakly hit towards Guerrero, and he'll just put the tag on Mullins and give him a hug for good measure, and that'll be that in the top of the 5th. It is 7-3 Rays as we check in for an update now with Brad Fay.
Dan, thank you very much. Here's the in-game tracker brought to you by Bet365. Don't need to tell the Yankees how good the Rays have been. They're suddenly looking up in the AL East, a game behind, but they're in Baltimore on this night. Top of the third, runner on for Ben Rice. The 2-run home run off Brandon Young has the Yankees rolling. Speaking of, Ryan Weathers pitching a no-hitter for the Yankees. Strikes out Weston Wilson in the 5th. Got through the 6th with the no-no intact, but in the 7th, it's Adley Rutschman who breaks it up with a single to the right side. Still 2-0 Yankees. Angels at the Guardians, bottom of 3, 2 on. Travis Bazzana with the 2-run double off Kirby Yates. The Guardians did not go for 2. They converted for a 7-0 lead in the bottom of the 7th. That is the in-game tracker brought to you by Bet365, home of the 5-run early payout. Download the app today.
City Connect jerseys, but on Friday, May 22nd, a City Connect night, the first 15,000 fans will receive a Jose Bautista Edwin Encarnacion Home Run Flex City Connect bobblehead, showcasing their signature celebration in new threads. See the full promotions and event schedule at bluejays.com/promotions. Bottom 5, 7-3 Rays. Number 9 hitter Brandon Valenzuela leads it off against Drew Rasmussen. And Rasmussen doesn't get the call. That one missed just inside. That again is that two-seamer, front hip two-seamer. Starts right at the left-handed batter and ideally comes back over the inside corner. Just missed. He's got good stuff.
Yeah, I haven't seen many change-ups tonight. But he has such a variety of pitches. It really comes down to the sinker, the four-seamer, and that cutter, and how he deploys them against righties and lefties.
This streak the Rays have been on, winning 14 out of 16. The biggest reason is the pitching. They have allowed only, or had allowed in the 16 games, not counting tonight, only 24 runs in the 16 games. 1.5 runs per game. And they have not allowed more than 3 earned runs in any of those 16 games. Blue Jays have 3 tonight. It's the longest streak in the majors since the Giants in 2010. This Tampa Bay staff is currently doing something that no staff has done in 16 years.
Kevin Cash mentioned today about his bullpen and all of the different looks that they have down there. You've got a sinkers guy. You've got guys that spin the ball.
The bullpen's been as impressive as the starting pitcher. Fouled back again by Valenzuela. Pitching coach Kyle Snyder looking on. David Hopkins on the other side. Fouled off. A 1.38 ERA over their last 16 games, miles ahead of anybody else. They just seem to find a way. Now, as Kevin Cash said before the game, he goes, hey, the last couple of years weren't so great for his team, but you know, given how little they spend, they make trades and they diamonds in the rough, and it works for them, and the pieces fit, and they just more often than not, the whole is greater than the sum of the parts.
And I think if you asked Kevin Cash to come clean, he'd say, oh, I'd love a bigger payroll to work with. But certainly getting the best out of each individual.
Shane McClanahan tomorrow night. He was no fun for the Blue Jays last week down at the Trop.
Pitched into the 6th inning. No runs.
Valenzuela drives it to center, but Mullins is there. One down. The Blue Jays scored only 4 runs in the 3-game sweep down in St. Petersburg last week. Top of the order, George Springer, who's 0 for 2.
See teams staying away from George for the most part. He might be looking for a pitch, getting it, and taking his hack.
Fouls it off 0-2. Fluharty pacing. He'll come back out for the top of the 6th. Tough take, ball 1.
If he comes in, it's going to be with that sinker that he does to right-handed hitters so effectively.
And that's a strikeout as he gets Springer for the 2nd time tonight.
It was the sinker. He threw it lower in the zone, but it's still such a good pitch with all of the different offerings that he has. You see his fingers along those 2 seams, and we used to call it a 2-seam fastball, sinker. And generally it's got downward movement or in movement. Some of them have both.
That's 5 strikeouts now for Rasmussen. And here's Yohendrick Peñango, who grounded out in the 1st and walked in the 3rd. The Blue Jays have 4 hits tonight. The big one, obviously, the Jimenez home run. The other 3 are singles. There again is that 2-seamer. Tried to run it back over the inside corner, but just missed again.
And I think the one thing about Rasmussen that is understated is his velocity. He's 95, 96 with a lot of these pitches. This might be a different scenario if he's throwing 92, 93.
Three 3-0 the count on Peñango. Does he have the green light if he wants it? Maybe not, given
Not
that
down
take.
7-3.
Yeah. Yeah, not down 7-3. Good point. Need base runners. Grounded up the middle. Walls. Nice range, and he makes the play. And Rasmussen sets the Blue Jays down in order in the bottom of the 5th. Fans head to Rogers Center on June 5th as the Blue Jays kick off Pride Month in Toronto. The first 15,000 fans will receive a City Connect Pride hat presented by TD. Pride Night will also include pre- and post-game activities, photo ops, and live performances. Get your tickets at bluejays.com/promotions. The Rays up 7-3 on the Blue Jays' top six. Mason Fluharty got the last out in the top of the fifth. And is back out there to face the number 8 hitter in the Rays lineup, the left-hand hitting catcher, Hunter Fiducia. Fiducia, a base hit and a strikeout tonight. Braden Fisher's gotten up in the bullpen with guys like Caminero and Diaz, two very dangerous right-handed batters, possibly getting up this inning. Drops a sweeper in for a strike, 2-1. To the sweeper for a fly ball to right center field for Sanchez. One down.
You can certainly see how Fluharty would be so tough on left-handed hitters. The way he comes set, works from that first base side, really turns his body. He's almost showing his back to the left-handed batter.
Now Taylor Walls, the shortstop, who turns around to bat from the right side. Had an RBI triple in the second and then was called out on strikes in the fourth. A little bit high, ball one. Fluharty as confident throwing strikes with the sweeper as he is with the cutter.
Yeah, and you can see what he'll do with that pitch. He'll use both sides of the plate. He'll backdoor it, which is starting it in that left-handed batter's box, just trying to bring it back over the plate, or he'll bury it down and in on a righty.
He told me yesterday he has to remind himself from time to time to use both sides of the plate with both pitches, that he cannot get predictable. He doesn't have enough pitches. If they can cross off one half of the plate, both of his main pitches are coming in on right-handed batters. So it's got to be backdoor cutter, cutter in, backdoor sweeper, sweeper down and in.
And I'm sure that's something he's noticed more at the big league level. You could probably get away with that in AAA against AAA hitters, but in the big leagues, they'll start sitting on one side of the plate, as you described there. They'll be all over you. So being able to use both sides of the plate, very beneficial.
Still 2-2 on Walls. Conversation between innings, Kyle Snyder and Drew Rasmussen about how to attack the Blue Jays in the bottom of the sixth. Popped up, and it should be routine for Ernie Clement. 2 down. Well, if you weren't with us, Chandler Simpson has been running all over the place tonight. If you were with us, you've seen this already. An infield hit where he was just too fast. There was nothing that could be done. Got to second on a disengagement violation. Stole third standing up. The throw went into left field. In he comes. Chandler Simpson doing Chandler Simpson things.
I think those fingers were describing him running around the bases.
You know, if you go back to, say, the 80s, I know, we're old, Joe, but like a lot of teams had a guy in this mold. Maybe not as good at doing what they're doing as this, but a lot of teams had a high contact, pretty good average, no power, tons of speed kind of guy. But analytics kind of drove this guy out of the game to a certain extent. There aren't many guys like this anymore.
No, and I think when you say analytics drove these guys out of the game, I think it's what pitching has done in the game. The high velocities now, the nasty secondary pitches. basically developing pitches in a lab, and pitchers. The velocity has increased dramatically over the last 10 to 20 years. So then in response to that, the hitter said, well, we got to take 3 swings and take 3 shots to try to hit on the park, because you're not going to be able to string hits against these guys. And I think we're evolving back a little bit, and that's a lot of fun to see, even though it's against the Blue Jays here. But these types of players are exciting to watch.
Well, his OPS is .695, which is below the major league average. But it feels like, you know, he is more valuable than that .695 OPS suggests he is.
It's the impact he's having on the game that feels like an .850 OPS.
And I think teams aren't as used to defending against this kind of a player, because there aren't that many of them around anymore. The 3-2 from Fluharty. Grounded up the middle. Got to hurry. Jimenez doesn't get him. A little bit, not even a double clutch, but I don't know if he gets him even if he didn't have that. The guy puts the ball on the ground and he gets to first base.
The contact skills are out of this world, and I'm not sure he does either. It was not hit real hard. Of course, once he didn't come up with it cleanly, you were done. But if he does, it would have been real close. But again, just not really hard hit right off the bat. And now, of course, he's a threat to steal again.
And a pitching change coming for John Schneider with the Blue Jays. Fluharty coming out, Braden Fisher coming in. You're watching Rogers Blue Jays baseball on Sportsnet. It's 7-3 Rays, top 6. Simpson is at first with 2 down, and John Schneider wants Braden Fisher to face Junior Caminero.
Fisher continuing his fine start to the season in 19 games. See that whip just over 1. He's allowed 14 hits in his 20 2/3 innings. He walked 8, and he has been Mr. Reliable with his breaking pitches against these right-handers.
How long do you think Simpson waits around?
Not long. Fisher is not the quickest to the plate either, so I think he'll take advantage.
Not going here, and it's popped up foul. Guerrero and Valenzuela coming over, but no play. Tonight, had a base hit in the first. He's grounded out twice since then. It's funny, you look at Caminero's got 11 home runs and only 19 RBIs. He's 4 for 32 with runners in scoring position. Then you look at the guy on deck, Aranda, who has 8 homers and 32 RBIs, and he's hitting .400 with runners in scoring position. Some of it depends how many men are on base in front of you, obviously, but Aranda's done an incredible job. Whereas Caminero's hitting a bunch of homers, but not really driving in all that many guys. Meanwhile, the first sign of any activity in the Rays pen, Ian Seymour, one of the two left-handers down there, is up. 1-1 the count. Runner not going, and it's called strike 2. Rasmussen looks like he is still in the game. Varsho and Sanchez, left-handed batters, due up 3rd and 4th for the Blue Jays in the bottom of the 6th. Long hold by Fisher, trying to mess with the timing of Simpson. Here's a little dribbler up the line and underhanded by Valenzuela. On to Guerrero to get Caminero and retire the side. Fans celebrate a Blue Jays legend with the Roy Halladay replica retro jersey giveaway. On Monday, June 8th, the first 15,000 fans will receive a retro Halladay jersey. Buy your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Bottom 6, and here's Guerrero to lead it off. Vladdy is 0 for 2 tonight against Drew Rasmussen. It is 7-3 Rays in the opening game of this 3-game series. The Rays 7 runs on 11 hits. The Blue Jays 3 runs on 4 hits with 1 error. And a swing and a miss and a fastball up. It's 0-1.
Those are the swings that look like maybe you're looking for a pitch, didn't get it, but swung anyway. Almost like he was looking for Rasmussen's cutter, but got the fastball.
So do you think he's guessing what he might get a little more often than just being Vladdy and reacting to what he's getting?
You know, as opposed to guessing, like a lot of good hitters will sit on a pitch. Right. And if you're facing a Rasmussen, maybe you go up looking first pitch cutter because you know he throws a lot of them to righties. But that's a much better swing at a pitch that maybe he was looking for. But he knows the frustration there is missing that pitch right there. Now that gets back to your swing mechanics that I'm sure he's working on hours every day. But it's you want to get to a point where you're looking for a pitch, you get it, then you put your A swing on it. It sounds easy, clearly not easy to execute.
That was close. 2-2. Short, Walls up with it, and Guerrero now 0 for 3. He's had slow starts before, and he has come out of it, and he and everybody down there just hoping it'll come soon. It's been a couple of weeks, really, since Guerrero has looked like himself. 1 out. Here's Kazuma Okamoto. 1 for 2, had a base hit and scored on the Jimenez home run on the 2nd. extending his hitting streak to a 10-gamer. How about the success that Okamoto is now having, and the success that Munetaka Murakami of the White Sox is having? He's got 15 home runs, third in the major leagues. Both of the big-time Japanese position player free agents have come over and are doing really well. He went, and it's 2-2. Bounces it foul over towards the third base dugout. I think Miles Straw made the grab. Joe Mantiply is stretching right now. Was throwing a little bit earlier.
Good take.
Because with 2 strikes and it looked like it was going to be a strike about halfway to the plate. And changeup that drops straight down below the zone.
Boy, they have to be thrilled with where Okamoto is at. But as we said in the open, one guy can't carry the offense.
Yep. Swing and a miss. Rasmussen gets him for strikeout number 6. So a challenging stretch coming for the Blue Jays. You know what the Rays are all about. And again, the Tigers are not off to a great start, but there are a lot of good players there. And then 4 in the Bronx, the first meeting with the Yankees this year. Then they come back home and play a Pirates team that is much better than it has been in recent years. You might get Paul Skeens, you know that. And the additions of Brandon Lau and Ryan O'Hearn have made that lineup much, much better. The Pirates look like they've got a chance to really be a good team this year.
It's rare that we've said that about the Pittsburgh Pirates. They pitch and they hit. But that's what they're looking like this year.
Bouncer left side of the infield. Caminero will get Varsho, and that is now 8 in a row set down by Rasmussen.
Chicken to Wild Hot Honey Chicken.
On The Price is Right tonight.
It's another big night in the Stanley Cup playoffs tomorrow. Hockey Central gets you set at 6:30 Eastern, followed by Game 4 between the Sabres and the Canadiens. Aren't the Habs playing well? They're up 2-1 right now. And then Game 5 between Vegas and Anaheim, 9:50 Eastern, 6:50 Pacific tomorrow night. Not surprisingly, some Canadiens fans here at Rogers Center tonight. with a little expo touch as well. You like that, Joe?
Gotta love that.
Gotta love that. Ooh. Braden Fisher's first pitch hits Jonathan Aranda right in the back.
Interesting.
And I don't think Kevin Cash is very excited about this. Aranda has waved him off. Cash will go back to the dugout.
That was interesting to say the least from a Braden Fisher. Not sure what has transpired in this game. Kevin Cash has a look on his face the same way. He did homer his last time up. We talked earlier in this game, and when Ard reported about the different glove movements of Kevin Gausman. Now, with that, did Aranda have something to do with something? This could go in a lot of directions, but that looked peculiar to me.
Yeah. Here's a bouncer, weakly hit towards third by Yandy Diaz. Okamoto makes a very nice play to get him. For the first out as Aranda takes second on the play. And now Fisher will stay to face Jake Fraley. The lefty Joe Mantiply is up in the bullpen. Fraley tonight 1 for 3, doubled and scored back in the first when the Rays jumped out early. They got 3 in the first, 2 in the second. The Blue Jays got 3 back on the Jimenez home run, but the Rays have just added on a couple of runs since to lead 7-3. Back 1-2.
Feel like for the most part, when we see Braden Fisher use his fastball, it's straight up top.
Yeah.
Up above the zone.
No way to know for sure from up here in live time.
No. But judging by some of the looks on faces and body reactions as a player being down there, when things happen like that, immediately you go back to, okay, what happened earlier?
Grounded to Guerrero, and he'll feed Fisher at the bag to get Fraley. Aranda comes to third, 2 down. And that'll bring up Richie Palacios to face Fisher. Palacios, a couple of hits, including a 2-run single back in the first. Ball 1. And that's in there to even it up. Well, we mentioned Ryan Weathers of the Yankees took a no-hitter into the 7th in Baltimore tonight. The Orioles came back and won the game. Got 2 in the 7th, 1 in the 8th. Well, got 3 in the 7th rather, and hung on to beat the Yankees 3-2 tonight. Kobe Mayo hit a 3-run homer.
Well, that's a big backswing right there that clipped Brandon Valenzuela. Looks like he's okay. Gives it the thumbs up. Big swing by Palacios. You see the big long finish, catches him in the back of the head, and that's where when you wear the helmet on backwards with the mask, the side of your head and the back of your neck's pretty exposed as opposed to those goalie style masks.
Catchers have crept up a little bit closer, trying to steal strikes.
Yeah, that looked pretty extreme, his finish.
Yes, yeah. And also hitters are standing deeper in the box. Maybe there's more velocity in the game than ever before, or hitters generally standing a little bit deeper in the box.
Could be a combination of all those things, yeah.
Aranda a walking lead down the line. And it is now 2-2 on Palacios. That curveball missing just inside. Foul back. Popped up foul back out of play just below us. Again, Fisher comes set. Aranda down the line, and the 2-2 one more time. Lined into right for a base hit. And that'll cash in another run for the Rays and make it 8-3.
Another good piece of hitting by Palacios. Had a nice night. His third hit of the evening. Drilling this ball into right, and that'll send John Schneider back out to the mound.
Left-hander Joe Mantiply is going to enter the game now. 8-3 Rays in the top of the 7th.
The smarter retinol.
Fourth pitcher of the night for the Blue Jays is the veteran lefty Joe Mantiply.
Slowly putting together a nice start to this season for the Blue Jays, too, in the bullpen. An ERA just under 2.5. It's only been scored upon in 2 of his outings, so overall pretty good. Got that whip just over 1. Not walking many. 3 walks against 16 strikeouts in his 14 2/3 innings.
He inherits a 2-out runner at first situation and a left-handed batter in Cedric Mullins, who is 0 for 3. And that's taken outside for ball 1. Don't know for sure, but given that it's a 5-run deficit right now, unless they make some noise in the bottom half, I wonder if Yariel Rodriguez gets into the game tonight. For those who haven't heard, Rodriguez was called up to the big club today. Eric Lauer was DFA'd after the game last night. There's Yariel, who was striking out a ton of guys at AAA. The fastball velocity back up into the mid-90s. The walks still seem to be a bit of a concern. 9 in 13 2/3 innings. But the Blue Jays obviously got enough good reports on him that felt it was time to bring him back up. So they're going to figure out the 5th starter spot in the coming days. What they do they cobble it together, find somebody? But for now, at least, Yariel Rodriguez in the bullpen, and who knows, we might see him tonight. Mullins grounds out, and that'll take us to the 7th inning stretch here with the Rogers Center, with the Rays up 8-3.
UB.
Folks, just 2 days left to join in on the 50-50 mega jackpot from Jay's Care. Plus, you could still win a trip to Bora Bora and gas for a year. If you're in Alberta, New Brunswick, Nova Scotia, or Ontario, head to bluejays.com/5050 to get your tickets now. Probably be up and over $2 million by the time the draw happens. Bottom of the 7th, 8-3 Rays. And Drew Rasmussen is done. Left-hander Ian Seymour comes into the game.
Ian Seymour's numbers don't necessarily look great with that ERA over 5, but he allowed 5 earned runs in the first game of his season without recording an out. So that will leave a mark. Otherwise, he's been quite good.
Miles Straw is going to pinch hit for Jesus Sanchez. Straw in a part-time role, having a very nice season for the Blue Jays, hitting close to 300, OPS over 800. He is pulling the ball in the air much more than he has in the past. And if you're a Miles Straw or an Andres Jimenez, like some guys can hit him out to all fields, Miles Straw knows if he's going to do damage, he's got to pull the ball, and he is getting the ball in the air to the pull side a lot more. It sharply through the left side for a leadoff base hit.
And the idea is to get that barrel going to the pull side. That's where you're going to develop most of your bat speed. Can still result in a low liner that goes into left field for a base hit as well.
Trying to get something started here, bottom 7. It'll bring up Ernie Clement, who is 0 for 2. Some crazy numbers in the Rays game notes about their bullpen. The bullpen has allowed 2 runs in the last 44 and a third innings. 2. They get a lead, they keep a lead. Blue Jays trying to change that. The Rays this year, when leading after 6 innings, are 20-0. A lot of the guys don't have big names, but they're getting the job done, and much more of it for Kevin Cash's team is on the pitching side than the offensive side of the year.
It's really the Rays way, right? If you think all the way back, it was always centered around pitching and defense, it feels like. Of course, they had some teams that could hit and hit for power at times, but it seems like it's pitching and defense and try to score what you can.
Straw the lead, 1-2 the count on Clement. Popped up foul. It's fighting to get out of play, and it will. Clement fights it off. Ernie likes to swing, and in 2 strike counts you got to be even more aggressive, protect on anything close. Fouls another one back. Clement has the 2nd lowest strikeout percentage in the American League. Only Stephen Kwan of the Guardians striking out less frequently than Clement is.
And the only reason he'll ever be up there for this many pitches is because he fouls them off. Usually he gets things done quickly.
He has seen 7 pitches. He has fouled off the last 5. Just out of play, I tell you. He's living life right now. That all of these are just sneaking into the netting or over the netting. different pitches he's seen, all the different velocities.
And he can pretty well get to everything. It's just a matter of squaring something up.
How far outside was that ball? 4 or 5 inches, or yeah, hard guy to walk. Hard guy to strike out. Make him throw another pitch. And a swing and a miss as Seymour finally wins the battle on the 10th pitch of the at-bat.
Interesting look from the pitcher. He's almost looking toward third base, the left-hander, as that ball is being released from his hand.
First out, bottom 7. Here's Andres Gimenez, who hit the 3-run homer in the second. That has accounted for all of the offense the Blue Jays have. He struck out in the 4th. Was 106 off the bat. The only question was, would it stay fair? What a night for Andres Gimenez.
He was steering that ball, trying to keep it fair down the right field line, and he tucked it just inside the pole. There was no doubt about the distance.
It's 8-5. That is the first 2-home-run game of Andres Gimenez's major league career.
Well, we said he's got some pop in that bat, but you can see he just accelerates it through the zone. Right there, he's steering it. Stay, don't hit too much. Thank you.
We've talked about it. When he connects, it's as pretty a swing as anybody on the team has.
There is some pop in that left-handed bat. Makes you wonder, does he become that kind of pull guy? You just described Myles Straw. Look at this swing.
Yeah.
Catch that baby out front. Beautiful. Much like his earlier swing of the night off Drew Rasmussen.
It's also a career high in RBIs. He has never driven in 5 runs in a game before. Valenzuela tried to hold up, and he did. It is 2-2. Still got 7 outs to play with here. Gimenez checking out his first home run off a lefty this season. Valenzuela's popped it up in foul territory, and this one will get out of play.
Lefty-lefty matchup too, and he has certainly had his struggles against left-handed batters, but maybe he just goes up there and says, I'm going to sit on breaking balls. I know I'm going to see some sliders from this guy. Fouled off the first one. Came back and squared that one up.
We don't usually see this kind of emotion from Andres Gimenez, and he enjoyed that. The Blue Jays have perfected the art of fouling the ball just over the netting into the seats here in this inning. So that's 5 home runs and 23 RBIs now for Gimenez. As Valenzuela draws a walk. Is Kevin Cash making his way onto the field? He is. That's going to be all for Seymour, it looks like. There's the call. Right-hander Hunter Biggie has been up in the pen for the Rays. And another pitching change here in the 7th as the Blue Jays get closer. On Friday, June 12th, the Blue Jays will bring some of Toronto's World Cup soccer excitement to the ballpark. The first 15,000 fans into the Rogers Centre will receive an Andres Jimenez replica soccer jersey. And take note, the first pitch is at 7:37 p.m., a half an hour later than the usual 7:07. Get tickets now at BlueJays.com. Gonna have to ask him tomorrow how much soccer he played as a kid. He certainly has his baseball swing down tonight. A couple of home runs. He's driven in all 5. And here's right-hander Hunter Biggie with a runner at first, 1 out. And George Springer, the batter. When after the first pitch, pops it up in foul territory, and Aranda comes down to make the catch. And Springer a little bit frustrated, and 0 for 4 as he makes his way back to the dugout. One pitch, 1 out for Biggie, who with that out, batters are now 5 for 46 against him this year. Here is Yohendrick Pinyango, a couple of ground outs sandwiched around a walk.
Two pitches from Biggie, four-seam fastball and slider down for the most part. Very odd splitter and curveball, but it's really 2 pitches you're looking for.
Big cut, and that's one of the things the Blue Jays hitting staff likes about him. He does not get cheated. Meanwhile, in the bullpen, both Jeff Hoffman on your left and Yariel Rodriguez on your right. Yariel not even back up to the rubber yet. As you can see, Hoffman appears to be thrown a little bit more seriously out there right now. And now Fiducia heading to the mound. So that streak we talked about with the Rays had only given up 3 earned runs in 16 consecutive games. It's over now thanks to Andres Jimenez. But the Rays still have a 3-run lead. 1-1 the count on Pinyango. Again, a big cut, fouled it back. 1-2.
He's on it. Good swing. These guys have to love what they see from this young hitter. Forces the pitcher into the zone.
Taken high, 2-2. His history suggests more of a line drive guy than a lift the ball power guy, but they're hoping the power will come, and it's not like he hasn't hit 10-15 home runs in a minor league season before, but he has looked very confident in his big league at bats. This one is hit in the air to shallow right, and Fraley is in to make the play for the third out. The inning is over. Jimenez makes it an 8-5 game, and it's time now for a Blue Jays Central update with Brad and Caleb.
Dan Home Hardware is proud to be the official home improvement retailer of the Toronto Blue Jays. Locally owned, genuinely Canadian, genuinely fast is how you would describe Chandler Simpson. It's only one run of the 8, Caleb, but it came at a time the Jays had some momentum and changed the complexion of the game.
I thought the throw to third base with the runner stealing was the hardest one because you don't really have a stagnant target. A lot of times your eyes want to pick up the third baseman, and look where Okamoto is. Look where his positioning is, and that's exactly where Valenzuela's looking. Now, as you see the throw come on down towards the third baseline, look where it ends up. It's right where he was. The one thing you cannot do in this play is throw it into the outfield. A lot of times you want to look at that base as a catcher, throw it right over the base, or if you get out there early enough, you see a sign in the left field wall, maybe aim for that left field wall sign. But with Simpson running, you don't try and throw him out. You got to make a good throw. Good learning curve for the young kid out there.
Reminder that hockey is also on Sportsnet, tied at 1, late stages of the second period. Minnesota and Colorado back with the finish here at the Rogers Center.
With the way Dylan Cease is pitching for the Blue Jays, this is sure to be a popular item. June 10th, the first 15,000 fans of the Rogers Center will receive a Dylan Cease bobblehead. Get your tickets now at bluejays.com/promotions. Cease has kind of grown out the mustache a little bit since the bobblehead was made. Boy, has he been something. That last start that he had was tremendous. 7 scoreless innings, didn't walk a batter, struck out 10. He'll pitch the third game of this series Wednesday night. We saw Miles Straw remains in the game in right. Joe Mantiply back on the mound. Hunter Fiducia will take a strike.
Cease is exciting to watch because you just never know what's possible. You watch those first few innings and he looks virtually unhittable at times, and then if he can package it all together like he did in that last start, some special things can happen. Electric stuff.
He's got a 2.58 ERA and is tied for the league lead, the American League lead, in strikeouts at 66 with Gavin Williams of the Guardians. Jammed him, fouled off, 2-2.
And it's being able to hold that velocity so long as well in his starts. When you're still ripping 97s and 98s later on in your outing with that devastating slider that he has, not to mention the other offerings he's throwing up there.
Fly ball to left center. This is taking Varsho back a ways, but he'll get to it. Fiducia retired, 1 down. And it appears the decision is that Yariel Rodriguez is going to come in with the Blue Jays getting it within 3, but no closer than that. So it looks like if help is needed, or if they get to a spot where the decision has been made, the decision will be for Yariel Rodriguez. Taylor Walls, the batter, 1 for 3, had an RBI triple back in the second. Down and away, and it's a ball and a strike. shot foul, 1-2.
Sinker changeup to righties from Mantiply. Sinker curveball to lefties, and he's done a very nice job quietly coming out of this Blue Jays bullpen. He's not a guy that's going to wow you with the radar gun. Lots of experience.
The 2-2. High fly ball to very shallow left center, and it's Jimenez going out to make the catch. 2 down.
Get game-changing internet and Canada's most reliable internet. Rogers Xfinity. We got you.
Mantiply looking for a 3-up, 3-down top of the 8th inning. He's gotten the first 2, but now he's got to deal with Chandler Simpson. Simpson is 3 for 4 tonight. 3 singles, 2 steals, 3 runs scored. Okamoto in at third, as you always have to be with a guy like Simpson in case he chops it in your direction. Ground ball to second. And he barely got down the line. I mean, it was hit right at Ernie Clement, but Simpson not going 100% down the line. To the bottom of the 8th, and it's 8-5. Blue Jays coming up. Second game of this series comes your way tomorrow night on Sportsnet 1. A couple of lefties, Shane McClanahan and Patrick Corbin, 6:30 Eastern for Blue Jays Central. First pitch at 7:07 Eastern time. McClanahan, just a dynamite arm, was very good against the Blue Jays last week. Corbin was very good against the Rays, and with all of the injuries the Blue Jays have had in their pitching staff, their starting rotation, where would they be without Patrick Corbin right now?
It's been a nice piece coming along, and the first one wasn't so good. He was rushed along a little bit, but he is settling in comfortably now to this Blue Jays rotation.
Johnny DeLuca's gone into left for Chandler Simpson. Maybe something grabs Simpson going down the line because he was not Chandler Simpsoning his way down to first. So keep an eye on that for tomorrow. Here's Vladimir Guerrero Jr. to lead it off here in the bottom of the 8th. It's 8-5 Rays. And Guerrero wants to challenge that. This closer look is brought to you by Specsavers. And it is indeed low for ball 1. Swings underneath, a fastball up, and it's 1-1. Guerrero 0 for 3 tonight. too high, ball 2. After Guerrero, it'll be Okamoto and Varsho. And another ground ball to short. Walls has it, and Guerrero retired, now 0 for 4. So now Kazuma Okamoto, who is 1 for 3, singled and scored in the second. High in the air to deep center, but it is playable for Mullins. 2 down. Well, we mentioned Johnny DeLucas now would left for the Rays. That Chandler Simpson is no longer in the game. And yeah, something grabbed him. And that's tough news for the Rays, obviously, given the kind of spark he, as we have seen, can provide at the top of the lineup.
Felt it right in that swing. It could have been in the hip area. Who knows? We'll find out. But something like that when you're coming out of the batter's box, I doubt we would see him tomorrow.
Here's Dalton Varsho, who is 1 for 3, had a base hit back in the second. Andres Jimenez has been all of the offense tonight. 2 home runs, and he's driven in all 5. Cole Sulser now up in the Rays pen. Jays side, it's Yariel Rodriguez now with Louis Varland. So if the Blue Jays get closer here in the bottom of the 8th, Varland may be called upon. Swung on and missed as Varsho strikes out, and Biggie has a 3 up, 3 down, bottom of the 8th.
Well, here's Yariel Rodriguez back on a major league mound after he was outrighted off the Blue Jays roster this winter. It's only May, but Rodriguez has looked like a different guy at AAA Buffalo so far this year, pitching to a 2.63 ERA and a massive 43% strikeout rate. And here's the biggest difference for him. Look at those splitter numbers. 3rd down, he has dramatically increased his use of that pitch, and that's something that the Blue Jays brought to him during spring training. They encouraged him to make a little bit of an adjustment with how often he was throwing that offering, particularly to left-handed hitters. And when you pair that splitter with a fastball that's been averaging 95 miles per hour so far this year, remember there were those velo fluctuations during spring, it's been awfully effective. So far this season, Rodriguez's splitter has been his primary 2-strike weapon and the out pitch for 16 of his 19 strikeouts, Dan.
Art, thank you. You can see the numbers against left-handed batters, how he has dominated them. Again, the velocity is back up. The strikeout numbers at AAA were huge. The walks still kind of, you notice that. It's 9 walks and 13 2/3, and that has been a problem at times for him in the past. He was really good for most of the first half of last year, but struggled more and more as the season went along, and people may not remember, fans may not remember, he was not even on the World Series roster. Pitched himself off the roster for the World Series, but here he is back in the big leagues for the first time this year, facing Junior Caminero. Boy, you want to get back into it. You're going to face Caminero, Aranda, and Diaz, the 3 best hitters that the Rays have.
Yeah, it's a nice spot to get him back into action here down 3, but tough part of this Rays order. This will be a true test in his first game back.
This is up and away, and he falls behind 2-0. Whenever John Schneider was asked about Yariel Rodriguez last year, and he was often, you know, what do you need to see from him? What does he need to do? The first word out of John Schneider's mouth inevitably was strikes. Over and over again. And that slider is called high. He's fallen behind 3-0. Inside, ball 4.
Not the best way to make a first impression with your manager and pitching coach, but now he's got a chance to get that one out of the way and maybe get himself a ground ball.
Jonathan Aranda, a sac fly, an RBI single, a solo homer, and then hit by a pitch. There's the first strike, and it's 0-1. .96 on that fastball. That's the split. That's the pitch he is using a lot more, and that has helped him be so effective at AAA against left-handed batters. And now we've got a pinch runner coming out for Caminero. Ben Williamson is going to run. Williamson will stay in the game. He's an outstanding defensive player. He'll stay in at third. He's played second for the Rays as well. Can play some short too. Former Mariner. Runner goes right away. The throw down by Valenzuela is in time. Brandon Valenzuela, who came into the game having thrown out 5 of 13 base stealers, just got Williamson.
This is a tough pitch to handle too. He has to get over there, turn his body back around. He gets rid of it rather quickly. And what a throw, but what a tag by Andres Gimenez at second base.
Well, Brandon Valenzuela continues to impress with the tools that he has. The power in the bat, the power in the arm. 1-2 the count on Aranda. And that's strike 3 called. Now Aranda wants to challenge. He seems fairly confident that he is in the right here. Let's see. He is in the wrong. That got a lot of the play. So Rodriguez got some help from his catcher, and then he comes back to strike out Aranda, and all of a sudden, instead of a man on, nobody out, it's 2 outs and the base is empty. And here's Yandy Diaz.
That's a good response, though, to a tough start to the inning.
Fastball drilled in for a strike, and it's 0-1. That was 97 there on that first pitch. With all the offense the Rays have had tonight, Diaz has not been a part of it. He's 0 for 4. Another fastball challenges him again, and it's 0-2. Sulser and Brian Baker, a former Blue Jay. Baker is the primary closer for the Rays. He got it. Dropped a splitter in at the knees to freeze him and strike him out. Andres Jimenez has had a big night. He is one of those due up in the bottom of the ninth.
All right, bad news is the Jays down going into the ninth. Good news is Andres Jimenez is due up.
Yes.
The best news is
Hat-trick of homers.
coming up on Sports Central presented by KFC. We will break down the entire game with Yvonne Kosmek and myself.
Yeah, sounds good. And there's only one game in the Stanley Cup playoffs tonight. Colorado and Minnesota. We'll take you to Minnesota, and it is a tight one.
Tight game. It's been a good game. It's been a good series.
Emotional, though, of course, as always.
And that Nathan McKinnon got hit in the face, too. So some drama there.
Full updates, but back to the Dome for now.
Ivanka Faisal, thank you. Bottom of the ninth. 8-5. Rays over the Blue Jays. Miles Straw will lead it off. Bernie Clement up second. Andres Jimenez third. And Kevin Cash has gone to his closer, Brian Baker, who's in the Blue Jays system for a few years. Only made one big league appearance as a Blue Jay. Spent a number of years with Baltimore. Was acquired in a trade by the Rays in July of last year, and is 10 for 12 in save opportunities this season.
The 10th save came yesterday against Boston, tied for second most in the American League.
Williamson stays in the game at third.
Fastball changeup. He'll mix in the slider as well to these righties, but you're 96, 97 coming right after you. But fastball changeup combination, a little different from a closer.
Fastball in there, and it's 0-2. Just trying to get on base any way he can. Fights it off. You know, if you're giving out grades at the quarter point of the season, Miles Straw gets an A.
Yeah, because he does what he does well.
Yeah.
John Schneider said a million times going back to last year, be the best version of yourself. Miles Straw knows who he is.
Ooh. The catcher is challenging. I had no idea what direction Brian Honora was going in.
He was all over back there.
A challenge from Fiducia. Did it catch the bottom of the zone? It did not, by the narrowest of margins. The Rays are now out of challenges by 1/10 of an inch. It's low.
Honora stood up. He moved left. He moved right. I was waiting for the arm to go up.
Yeah. Popped up foul, back out of play again.
That changeup from Baker probably plays like a splitter. The action on it down in the zone.
And now Straw wants to challenge. And it just caught the bottom of the zone, so now Straw is out.
Well, Brian O'Nora was tested in that at-bat. Those are some close pitches.
You can't fault umpires, obviously.
No. And there is a little margin for error from what I understand, too, so...
Ernie Clement drives one to deep center field, but it's run down by Mullins for out number 2.
Ernie, as he often does, jumps on this first pitch, but he tags it pretty good to center field. Mullins does a good job going back on it and is able to bring it in.
Baker loves it, and the Rays are now an out away from going to 4-0 against the Blue Jays here this year. Here's Andres Gimenez, 2 homers, and has driven in all 5. Again, we're back with you tomorrow night. Patrick Corbin for the Blue Jays and Shane McClanahan for the Rays. One and one. Yariel Rodriguez back with the Blue Jays. A scoreless top of the 9th here tonight. But unless they can make it happen very soon, the Blue Jays will drop to 5 games under 500. Swing and a miss to end the ball game. Gimenez a bit of a look out to Baker after Baker really enjoyed that final strikeout. He will pick up the save, his 11th. 0-4 against their division rivals in 5 games under 500.
Well, Brian Baker has found a home in this Rays bullpen, and he's pretty excited as he puts the exclamation mark on this ball game with that strikeout of Gimenez. Andres is kind of thinking that was a little overreaction, but for the Blue Jays, it's just been a tough go right now. They cannot, score 5 runs against this starting pitcher and this bullpen. It's not bad at all, but unfortunately, it's on a night. Kevin Gausman has had some issues, and I'm sure we'll hear more about it post-game.
The final score, the Rays 8 and the Blue Jays 5 here in the opening game of the series. We'll be back with you again tomorrow night. But right now, it is time for Sportsnet Central, brought to you by KFC. Here are Ivanka and Faisal.